Today is August 20th, 2 days before the day where it's a week from when school starts. So, if you don't know, I've been on this process, I guess, this journey of, well, a few different things. Trying to perfect one, my knowledge of the gospel, trying to improve my knowledge of function and fitness in the gym, trying to improve my knowledge of just anything in general. My ultimate goal is perfection, which most people would shy away from. I don't think it's anything that I will be able to accomplish on my own. But when you add the fact that God is with me and he's with all of us, if we choose to let him into our lives, I don't see any good reason why we can, why we would shoot for anything shorter than perfection. If it's his power that will make it happen, it's like, imagine you go out to eat at a nice restaurant, and then you want, like, someone you know is willing to pay for every single thing you get, and like you can't really refuse it. It's just like they have the money, you don't. You have no money, but you're there at this restaurant eating. You can do one of two things. You could choose to eat less out of respect of the person's wallet, or if you want to respect their compassion and their willingness, and if they totally have the money to pay for the food, you eat until you're satisfied, which ultimately will make them feel better that you didn't leave the restaurant hungry. I don't know. That's just how I'm thinking about it, is that God is willing to give us his power, just because of his grace and his mercy. Like, he's so willing to work with us that if we want, we can have anything in this life. Anything in this world can be ours if we really put our minds to it, and if it's in agreement with what's good and what's right. So that's why I don't see any reason to do anything less than be perfect at some point. And that future point will come as a result of course, his power, like I said. But anyways, I've had this experience recently where, so I just moved a few months ago, like 2 months ago. I moved out here away from home, and the idea was to get a job and get ready for school. And as I got here, I took a while because I don't know, I had some conflicting feelings. I feel personally as if I have a high sensibility, if that's the right word. Sensitivity might be a better word. A high sensitivity to the spirit and spiritual promptings. And so for a while I felt as if I was not supposed to get a job, because I've been cultivating these ideas, all this progress I've made throughout and it's documented now, and throughout the course of since I started YouTube, since I started Instagram, TikTok, whatever. I only got those things. I only built this platform just so I could share my thoughts. But these thoughts have been developing for years now. And I felt as if there was still more to be done. And so a job would distract me from that purpose ultimately. So I had to make the hard decision to not work, because it was hard because I didn't have that much money to begin with. I had enough to pay for a semester and then to get through the next year, with rent and stuff like that, on the condition that I also got a job to replenish that income. But anyways, I felt to not get a job, and that income was depleted, and now I'm sitting at the last bit of money I have, which is enough to get me through this first semester. But literally, I will not have money after that. So there's this scripture that I've been aware of, but recently I've come back to read and to really appreciate. And this scripture is in James chapter 1, and it's the first 4 verses. And I could turn, I guess, right now to read that. But basically it talks about faith, and it talks about the perfection of your faith. And I'm turning it to it really quick. Okay, so here it says, in verse 2 of James chapter 1, it says, "My brethren, count it all joy when you fall into diverse temptations, knowing this, that the trying of your faith worketh patience. Let patience have her perfect work, that ye may be perfect and entire, wanting nothing." So the way that I read that is that if you really have faith, you will allow that faith to cultivate, but it will not grow past the point of perfection until you have patience, and you truly have patience. So I always say that faith is based off an assurance. So God has manifested himself to you already in small ways, and he just expects you to continue seeking out that development of whatever relationship you have with him. If you know that he's real, or at least you believe he's real, then you work on it, trying to get to know him more and trying to improve yourself. Through this process, you build a stronger and stronger faith, which is a conviction to act and to move forward, to walk on the path. But then at some point, you're going to be asked to wait. And the reason why is because it makes your faith perfect. And once your faith is perfect, it develops into a perfect knowledge. Faith is like belief in action. And then it proves to you what is real and what's not real about life. Because you can't discover anything without experimenting first, like in the scientific method. Anyways, so it says at the end of verse 4 that if you can let patience have its work, you will be perfect and entire, wanting nothing. As in, your faith will be perfect, and whatever God has promised you, you can basically count on it happening no matter what. If you have faith and then you do your part, then you let God do his part. While you're waiting for God to do his part, if you develop that patience, it will make your faith perfect, and then all of a sudden you will see the deliverance, you will see the blessing, the promised blessing come. And when that blessing comes, you will know without a doubt that it came from God, and your faith will be made perfect. Because once you know something, you can't really believe anymore. You actually know it. And so that's what faith does. It makes your belief turn into knowledge, which makes it perfect. So anyways, that's where I'm at right now, is waiting for the miracle to be delivered. And I'm trying to practice this principle that it says to let your faith be perfect and entire, and to want nothing. So basically, I don't have to keep asking God to deliver his promised blessing, because he already promised it. And so I just have to wait on him to deliver it. And through that waiting, my faith will be made perfect. So I would encourage everyone that's in the similar situation of trying to discern what God's will is, and you don't know when the blessings are coming. I would recommend that you try to have patience, and you understand exactly what it is and why you need it. Try to understand God's timing. Try to understand the scope of God's influence. Like, what else is he working on currently that maybe is behind the scenes that you don't know about, but like maybe some things have to come into place before he can deliver on the promise he made you. But have comfort and faith in knowing that he is working and that he never stops working. So anyways, yeah, I guess I can talk about the workout. A little bit about the workout today. I reduced the weight because I don't always squat like so heavy, just because I don't think it's good for your joints, or the muscle tissue to be hammered every single day after day. I think it's important to if you can imagine a wave rising and falling. So like the peak of your training should be about like 90% of your max weight, and you do that maybe once a week or once every 2 weeks. And then for the most part, you're working between 60 to 80% of your max. So if you hit a heavy squat session or bench session, whatever session whatever type of lifting you're doing, you lift heavy one time. That means that the next couple days you're going to take it easy, and it's called deloading. It means that you're still working and you're still putting stress on your spine, on your core muscles and everything. But then you're doing it at a lower intensity, so that way your body has time to kind of rebound from the heavy work it did the other day. So anyways, that's what I'm doing today. And I've noticed for a while, and I wasn't able to really put my finger on it, but I noticed that when I descended into the squat position, that like my knees were not aligned, and I always wondered why that was. Like one knee would be pointing out farther or whatever, and I realized, this is actually footage from yesterday, but anyways, I realized when I was squatting that my hips were turned. So I was doing a corkscrew kind of thing, and it must have been because my body is avoiding some kind of imbalance, but basically, or a weakness, so that causes an imbalance. Anyway, so as I descended, I made it my priority to keep my hips in line, and I even twisted and overcorrected to make sure I could do it the way it's supposed to be done. And with that alignment, I actually felt like it challenged me more than it normally does, which proves that there was some weaker muscles that my body was trying to avoid. Like anatomically, my body was protecting a weaker part of the movement. So yeah, I would recommend to anyone that if you're starting to lift and stuff, don't go super heavy until you know you have the form down. That's what I'm doing with bench press. That's what I've been doing with squats, but now I'm kind of getting there with squats. I understand it. I understand the movement intrinsically. I understand the patterns and how the alignment is supposed to go. But I'm still trying to figure out the bench press. But I would recommend that you make sure your alignment and your posture is good. You push, you can push heavy weight relative to your alignment. So if your alignment is good, push heavy weight. If you need to improve your alignment, reduce the weight. until you figure it out. And once you figure it out, then you'll start to see the benefits of patience, like I was talking about. And I guess you'll become perfect in everything and wanting nothing, just like the scripture said. It's crazy how that stuff applies to real life. But that's what I love about weightlifting, is that you can never do it perfectly. As good as you can perform, you can always do better. And so even if it's not going heavier, you can improve your lift by improving your posture and alignment and doing all the small things. And then if you do those correctly, it would actually, long term, it will result in better results, because when you fix things at a base level and then build on those, your foundation is solid. But if you have bad alignment and posture and then go up in weight, you have a limit as to what you can perform and what you can achieve. So yeah, it's always better to do things the right way than to do things the quick way, the easy way, the fast way. So yeah, I would recommend attention to detail as being a priority. And so one thing about the bench press I'm learning is I had my wrists like rotated too far back for a while. So imagine like you're doing push-ups on the floor, how you have your palms flat on the floor. That's what I was doing, but like with my hands to the sky. And so the bar was sitting too high in my palm. So now I'm practicing with my wrist turned, I guess, in more. I'm trying to keep, I guess a flat wrist is how you would say that. So the same as if you were doing knuckle push-ups, like that alignment of the wrist is important for the bench press, so that way you don't hurt anything. But yeah, it definitely feels different, and the range of motion is impacted a little bit. It's something I'll have to get used to, but it also helps me target my chest better, which is interesting. Like the alignment actually like works the muscle group it's supposed to, and it takes stress away from my shoulders. So that should be it for today. I think I have one more set after this. I let the bar rest for a second, then boom, and then went back to do 2 more. I did 1 rep at, let's see, if this is 185, then it's 205. I think I added 10 pounds onto that, which would be the same as like a 45-pound plate and a 35-pound plate, but like I didn't want to change the weight after that. Oh yeah, I guess I forgot to mention, a lot of the footage, I guess, was not available for whatever reason. I tried adding it to the clip, and some of the videos I had to like not add because it wouldn't work for whatever reason. It couldn't download it. Anyways, so that's it for me today. Have a great day.